This is part 2 of the SwissEcho machine video. New O-ring in here, or the new drive belt, whatever you want to call it. But look at that, it's just super easy to get this part out, and there's a bearing in here for the capstan. And I got a few different measurements, the 99 and also 98 millimeters. So, and in case you need something like that, O-rings, you can contact Carsten Holm Sealing Solutions. They're really cool with all this, and they got all the different measurements of whatever you need for stuff like this. And they sent this in 2 days. I'm super excited about it. So let's look at this so far. So my idea is all these, and then this little springy thingy. So this will be spring loaded, and I made this so wide so it doesn't really matter if it's sloppity-joppity, then it's not going to move that much, see? Because of this, the size of this. This is just, you know, fundamental physics. So now this can be quite loose and it will still be good and accurate. Haha, pretty smart. So my idea is this is going to be in the middle. So I got exactly the right height, and then this is my optimal length. Now I'll go measure the length of the tape, and then I will drill a tiny little hole here and put a spring to this point, and then I will try and adjust the spring. So here's my little arm thingy. I milled this piece down because this is lying flat, and I put a little spring right there. So this is one of these little lock-in-place kind of really cool springs for exactly this job. And I think I'm ready to put everything back together again. Oh boy, are we having fun. I just came home from a little visit to Peter Peel, the guy that knows all about reel-to-reel machines. So he made me a couple of tape, those closed loop tapes, and look at that, this is the optimal, and he made exactly the right length. And when I turn this on, let's simulate the solenoid. Here we go. I hope this will work. So here comes the fun thing. I now want to test if the solenoid system here is actually working. So first I just power it up, and we see the motor is spinning like that. And I've connected 2 separate wires to my external power supply. And then I can activate the solenoid. It seems like that seems to be able to work, right? Something funny is happening. I don't know if you can see here this indicator. Every time I turn off the solenoid, we got a little bit of a spark, and it definitely seems like it's. See. It needs a little bit more, so I'll give it 1 more volt. So now this is 9 volt and 0.4 of an amp. It seems like it's not enough. Let's give it 10. So this needs to be running completely stable. That seems to be working. Okay, so yeah, I need a lot of power on this solenoid, so I need to generate this voltage somehow. This darn thing is driving me absolutely nuts. I'm trying to figure out why it cannot record. It can play back. Finally, I got all that up and running. The tape is moving. The input amplifier is amplifying. The next stage amplifier, and this is the recording amplifier, is running. This is the playback amplifier. And the tube that I pulled out is the erase head and oscillator. So, the problem is, this is the recording head. That one is shorted. Yeah, and that is why I don't have anything recorded on my tape. I did, of course, also remove the audio. This is audio, and this is the erase signal. So now I try to load the signal with a 500 ohm resistor. This is the DC resistance of the 4 playback heads. There are, of course, also a lot of inductance, not just DC resistance, but let's just, for the fun of it, try to load my recording amplifier. This is the recorded signal with this resistor, and now I got nice signal. Before I had absolutely nothing. So that is my main problem. Now I need to change the recording head, and the problem is those heads are, as you can see, the very, very slimline version, because they want to put them really, really close, and they are, as you can probably imagine, made for 1/4 inch tape. But the fun thing is, let me try and show this. I need to remove the tape. So let's try and see this here a little bit better from the side. So this is the width of the tape. It's a 1/4 inch tape. But look at that. This is the erase head, recording head, and so on. But look at that. All heads, they are half-track mono, and there is nothing up in the other half. That means they are ultra rare special heads, because normally with mono you would use the full width of the tape, called full track mono heads. This is a half track mono head. Very weird. But here comes the fun thing. I need a new head right now, and it's getting late, and I want this damn thing to work. So half of a 1/4 inch tape is the same width of a cassette tape, isn't it? So what if I can find a head from a cassette tape? Wouldn't that work if I use both of them together? Then I will have this width, right? I don't know. At least I get something. But right now I have absolutely nothing. This head is not working. It's going out anyway. So let's do that first. So here it is, my little recording head. Only 9 ohms DC, and all the others, they're 500. And by the way, this machine here is re-modified and all sort of things. In the original version of this one, the first 1, 2, 3 is actually recording head selections. So that means you could switch between recording on one of the first 3 heads. So that proves my idea about all the heads must be identical. What if this wire here is actually shorted to the casing or something like that? How can this one be shorted? That is weird. It also looks a little bit homebrew. You can see this is epoxy to this little piece. By the way, this little adjustment screw, that is so you can change the angle like this. This is called azimuth. This is how you fix correct angle of attack of all the different heads. But of course they just wanted to have them super flat. But I can see this last one here is actually tilted a little bit. So it is a thing. Look at that. Can you see? No, you cannot see anything. Oh, all bad things. So this head is definitely shorted. So this is, of course, I want to try and measure inductance, because this also says a lot about what's going on. So here is the inductance at 1 kilohertz, only 4 micro. That is not a lot of windings. And let me try and compare. I just went down to the junker e-waste, and I just pulled a cassette player back home, and I gave it a big whackity whack, and a few seconds later I had the whole drive out here in one piece. And look at that. This head here is about the same width. This is 11 millimeters wide, so it's a lot smaller compared to normal reel-to-reel heads. They are, I mean, 3 times as wide, or double, I mean. So let's try and measure the inductance and the DC resistance of a most likely working cassette player head, and it is 82 millihenries and 225 ohms. That is something completely different. Yeah, look at the mess. I've been having a super fight with this thingy for way too long. I think it's a donor just for one little dumb example, just to see if I can get something up and running. And look how cheap they made it. The erase head is a permanent magnet. How about that? Driving me a little bit nuts about this shorted tape head here. And this is the recording head, and this is shorted, so it's not going to work. So what I did is I found this cassette tape head, and I 3D printed a little plastic part here to make it compatible with my mounting, like that. Same everything, and also the offset for the magnetic part here. Maybe it's, I don't know if I can show that, but the height here should be in the middle of the original. So what I was hoping for, I don't know what I'm hoping for, but let's see if this is going to work. So now it's installed and adjusted a little bit, and it's not looking too bad from here. Look at that. I think it's not getting much better than this. But let's connect the red wires and see if it works. Let's try and see if I can record a little bit. So I'm going to put in a beep beep tone. Can we hear some echo? Let's try and see if I can record a little demo of this. I've been poking around with this a million gazillion hours. So my idea is to find some headphones and put the headphones on here. Is this going to work? I don't know. Like this. And then, hello? Hello, hello? Hello? 1, 2. 1, 2. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3. Hello. La la la. Holy, hello-ly, camoli. And then the idea is I can take the different here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it is much more funny sound. Hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. We have proven this machine actually works more or less, but I still got a little bit of fine tuning and optimizing to do. But there's this annoying thing with the pinch roller, and it's not pressing on the capstan. You can see the shape of this is like an egg. And it's stone hard, by the way. And it's also a little bit too big, the diameter. And what it's really supposed to do is it's supposed to press not only on the tape. You can see maybe it is pressing only on the tape. The idea is that half of this one is, of course, pressing on the capstan on each side of the tape, and this way it will roll around and pull the tape from the other side as well, and this way there is now double the grip on the tape from the pinch roller. So I need to either make one or try to fix the one that I got, and my idea is I will try and mill down just a half a millimeter of this one, and then I think I get a more accurate or more straight curve, but also get a little bit less smaller diameter, and this is also what I want. I'm not super happy about this mechanism here. It's really absolutely shit, but I don't think this is super critical because it's just pushing in, and then this really doesn't matter. As long as there's a grip and it's just pulling and pulling and pulling, it will just stay somewhere and then it will stay there, I guess. Maybe there's a way to fix this, but it's a little bit loosey, annoying, isn't it? So this is after a little bit of milling. Look at that. You can see the plastic here, or the rubber is about to delaminate, but it was already like this. But now it's it's actually a lot better. Maybe I could take a little bit more away, and then this will probably also be hidden. But I think this is an error in the casting. So now I'll try and put this on and see if it's better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with the new pinch roller in place, and the solenoid is actually a lot better now. I'm still using an external power supply to operate the solenoid. I have now warmed up the unit, and I got a microphone right here, so we should try and activate. Then I will take the microphone like this and go a little bit further away, so you cannot hear me into the microphone directly, I think. 1, 2, 3, and then we can try and change to a much faster setting. We can also try the absolutely fastest setting, hello, 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 or this one here, for example. You can also turn on 2 of them at the same time, hello, hello, for example, if you want to play with this. So yeah, I'm quite happy I got this thing up and running. Oh, did you see that? That was still a little bit of a stop in the tape. I think I'm not going to play so much more with... Yeah, look at that, see? Okay. But it is pressing real hard. I think it's actually not moving the pinch roller. We'll see what happens. And it is, of course, because I need a new one. And I also need a new recording head. The 4 playback heads, they work perfectly fine. Erase head also works perfectly fine. I have modified more or less the entire schematic, because there was just a million gazillion things wrong with this unit. Also, I changed all the potentiometers, both in the front and in the back. They're also broken, and a lot of design problems with the tube amplifiers and everything that they have done was just not super smart. But anyway, I am really happy that I got something. Hello, that is nice and running. We can see this meter here is also working. Oh, I got tons of input. And of course this meter shows a lot too much, but that is because I'm using this cassette tape head, and it is of course supposed to be one of these, but I can't find one at the moment, so that is on my to-do list for the future. And I think this video is already way too long, but I want to say thank you very much if you have seen half of it. I think I will be impressed. See you around. Bye bye. Let's show a few pictures I found online about this fantastic SwissEcho. This picture here, we can see inside what I believe is my model, the way the heads are in the left side, and this big roller you see called number 16. This is a cassette containing 160 feet of tape, and that is probably what was inside my unit to begin with. But all this is of course removed, and all the different parts around this is also missing, so there is no way to get this up and running. I needed to do something. Here we can see another model. It's called the 566. It also shows the heads in a completely different order, and everything is completely different, but I got the idea for the tape rollers and the spring system and all that from this photo, and we can see it here from another angle. This is completely rearranged the whole system inside. I also found some manuals for the 463 model in a very poor quality photocopy online, but we can see some different specifications and power consumption and how the tape is supposed to be mounted inside the 463 originally. So this is why I think my unit here is a 463. I also want to show the schematics for the 463. Since my model's been modified quite a lot, I needed to go really deep into the schematic. So I drawn a lot of schematic versions. I scaled it up and I redrawn and amplified and recreated the schematic so I could read what is going on. And then I added along the way all the different modifications and improvements. So at the end, here is my final schematic with all my modifications added to it.